And the title of Jason's presentation is Upcoming Changes in the Consortium of California Herbaria. So please welcome Jason.
Thank you for that introduction. This is a new venue for me. I haven't spoken professionally in any of the California events, though I have done a lot of botany in the Mojave Desert and around Death Valley and vicinity. I haven't ever given any talks on any of my work that came in California. Most of my work has been in Nevada, Oregon, Utah, and Arizona. So now I'm getting into California. I was actually born in Sacramento and spent a lot of time in Lake County, but I call those in my pre-plant days. I was not interested in botany as a youngster. I was converted during my undergraduate degree, in which I had started out in the geology program. Also with that, I won't be speaking very much at all on any kind of specific plant groups. So as part of my talk today, I am playing the role of one of my duties at UC Jepson, and that is the data manager of the Consortium of California Herbaria. And so my predecessors, David Baxter and Dick Moe, that is the position I have. I'm taking over their duties. And today I'm kind of going over, since there's this large history of the consortium itself, and there's a lot of changes going on. We had just a good detailed presentation about NANCH, which is a Symbiota platform. And one of the situations here is that CCH predates the Symbiota platform as far as displaying data online. It's founded in the consortium itself. It's founded in 2003. It's centered initially just around herbaria in the University of California system, and since then we have initiated a lot of new members over time to where there's now 39 members, and with about 3 or 4 members being brought in since the new Symbiota grant that I'll be talking about later has brought in about 3 or 4 new members that were not in CCH previously. And you won't find their data yet in CCH, but our new Symbiota portal we're loading their data in there as we speak. And so because of this transition between the old CCH system and the new Symbiota database, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what CCH has been and what it's transforming into, and then how it works with the new Symbiota platform. So during this process, it's been kind of a rumor going around that I hear off and on, a little less over time, that the original CCH database and portal is going to disappear, and we're only going to be doing this new platform. But CCH, the database originally, is not being retired. It's being updated and new features added to where we will be calling the new CCH, that website that people have been using since 2003 for California Herbaria, we're calling that CCH1. And CCH is going to be referred to basically as the member organization. So you can be a member of CCH, but over time, you can be a contributor to CCH1 and CCH2. And so I'm going to be going over that new structure. And this diagram here kind of goes over just a little bit about that. We have now 39 members. And previous presentation, I think Allison stated that in Index Herbariorum there were 109 herbaria in California. Well, eventually we would like to have anybody who has been registered in Index Herbariorum and a California herbaria to be a member of CCH. And we have a list of people that's ever growing that I'm going to be contacting in this year and over time to increase this number so that we have a goal of anybody who's a California herbarian who's registered in Index Herbariorum should be a member of CCH and in this process of contributing their specimen data. CCH2 is the name of the new Symbiota portal. It can also be it's a cch2.org is the website address. We also, because of the NSF grant, have an alternative website. It's capturing California wildflowers.portal.org. That is, and cch2.org, those are the same website. While the duration of the grant, because the grant is also capturing phenological data, which is data on the herbarium specimens through images, that shows where the plant is flowering or fruiting, we're tightly coordinated right now with the phenology of project part of the grant. So CCH2 will be the specimen data portal for all plant groups for all California or all CCH members. And CCH1 will be reserved for specimen data of California vascular plants from herbaria worldwide. So you may see specimens in CCH1 that are from herbaria outside of California that are California vascular plants that you won't see necessarily by selecting any of the institutions that are members of CCH. This is currently what the CCH1 search page looks like. This is what you come to when you come to that. And Lynn was also listing on here. Down at the bottom, you don't see that. The list box is actually larger than what's in there. But SciNet is actually one of those functions on there, one of the institutions you can select. And in the past, SciNet just kind of described what he might have not known with the previous presentation was that SciNet, we would download for CCH everything that's in the Symbiota portals associated with SciNet, extract just the California Plus specimens, and put them onto one small database on here. So when you select that on there in the past, it's not a live update. So if you have new specimens in a SciNet portal somewhere, they won't necessarily show up on CCH in the past. That is transitioning. One of the features that we're initiating so that SciNet just doesn't show up as a single institution on there, that individual institutions will show up on there and not just CCH members and a few agglomerated data. Features on here, and I won't be going over all of those. You can expand your search by restricting to non-natives and natives. You can also, in the current version, it's just kind of going away, is to be able to introduce specimens from Baja California to your search. We had that feature in this version, but that next version of CCH1 will eliminate that. Any specimens that you want to search for that are in member institutions of CCH outside of the state of California, you'll need to do it into the CCH2 portal. So once you do a search on a taxon and stuff, this is the basic page you come to, and I'm kind of just going over this just so that everybody kind of has more of a familiarity. There are users who are probably very familiar with this and users who haven't used this interface too much. The green bars here on the side mean specimens that have been georeferenced. These specimens here don't have the green or do not have a georeference, so you can select whether you want specimens that are georeferenced or specimens that have the all checked records. Also, there's ones here with a little camera icon. That means there's a digital image. And you can also add comments into that category there. These are all columns are all, you can arrange things alphabetically by selecting on the columns. Also, we have what's called yellow flags. You can select the yellow flag feature there, and the yellow flags, I'll go into that a little more detail later in the presentation. Yellow flags are basically specimens that do not match the distribution of the particular species in the e-flora when they're mapped onto a map for georeferences. When you go to map the collections, you come to this page right here. There's a lot of occasional confusion of people who haven't used this before. When you come out, this is what the mapper called Berkeley Mapper. It uses Google Maps as a background. And when you first get on here, it just shows you the California Jepson manual ecoregions here, and it shows you just the basic dots here. But you can select features up here. This is just the default point markers black, but when you change it, you can do marker cluster, and this shows you how many specimens in each little round of these circles are present in that distribution. You can also change it to place marks, and this will show you the yellow flags from your previous slide, from your search, and you have the specimens that fall within the expected distributions as is shown in the Jepson e-flora. Also, you can download all of the records or select records with just the coordinates here. And this is one step that has become problematic over time. Since this was developed back in 2003, there's been also more development in Excel, and although this worked well in the past, the newest versions of Excel, this trips people up. This produces a text file on a page, and you can't really directly copy and paste this information in there. But because it's a tab-separated list, and Excel, works best now with comma separated text files, and we're going to be updating that, but in the interim I have instructions there that hopefully help people get the data out. This is also here if you select the entire specimen record, here's all of the fields. And these fields are different depending on the specimen. This yellow bar here tells you that this specimen, the georeference, it's a yellow flag, there is something wrong with this georeference, and to be wary of it, and to find out how this discrepancy relates to the actual location of the specimen. So some functions of the old CCH website will be retired. The georeferencing cloning pages that people have worked with our georeferencing in CCH in the past will no longer be doing georeferencing on those pages. This is the page right here. The georeferencing will be done in CCH2 in the future. So this page also here, if people have used that, will also be going away. The georeference tools page, which has a lot of infrastructure and a lot of information about georeferencing, will stay. The comments, as I pointed out there, they had an older comments section where the comments would be into local databases at the CCH1 server. That's being retired, and now our links will be going directly to the CCH2. So in a future version, when you click on the comments over there on the other side, you'll be going to CCH2. And the CCH2 portal is in development right now. Not all of the specimens that are in CCH1 are in CCH2. It's taken a bit longer than we expected to get the data into there. But we have a little over half the people who are members of the phenology grant that's funding this CCH2 portal development are about 22, so a little around half of the members of CCH have been loaded in there and are participating in the phenology grant. This is our new webpage. This webpage looks very similar to the webpage that many of the Symbiotic portals have, and very similar to NANCH. So this is an alternative for people who are in California and they have kind of a decision now to make whether you want to be a member of CCH2, and we encourage people to contact CCH and me to become members of CCH2. The data, because the portals are combined, if your data is in NANCH or your data is in CCH2, they will be observable in the rest of the portals over time as these portals are linked. Right now, CCH2 is new, and it's not as linked to the other portals as it will be in the future. CCH2, I think I've gone most over this in previous. So right now, the phenology portal, what that does is we'll be imaging over 904,000 specimens with this. The grant is, the PI is Jen Yost at Cal Poly. And she'll be working with doing most of and her group will be doing most of the phenology development. We're databasing an additional 302,000 specimens and georeference 300,000 plus specimens. And we'll be capturing phenology data for all of those images. So one of the differences between the new portal and the old portal is that we'll actually have images, and CCH1 has very few digital images at this time. So there's 22 target families for these images, and 250 additional taxa with that. So CCH1 is tied highly to the California Jepson manual eFlora, and that's what we'll be kind of going over next. So there's a kind of a difference here between the eFlora, that's on the page on this side, and here's the Jepson manual itself. The eFlora is based on the Jepson manual, but there's a lot more data and images and such, and new information in the eFlora than can possibly be put in the Jepson manual. So in the Jepson manual, you have geographic assertions where they tell you all these abbreviations. And these are distribution strings, and these are translated in the eFlora into these maps. And these maps are the expected representation for these distribution of those species. And these distribution strings are compared with CCH records, and that's where the yellow flags come in. So these yellow flags here are specimens that are georeferenced in regions that are not in the expected the expected distribution in the Jepson manual. And this could be for multiple different reasons. It could be a bad georeference. It could be misidentified specimens. Maybe there's a distribution of new population that the author was not aware of. We have false positives that some of them are cultivated. And the boundaries, sometimes the boundary maps with the georeferences are just right on the boundary and they end up being yellow flags just because of the way that it's georeferenced. And currently there's 127,000 yellow flags of 2.3 million specimens. And one of the most important things is that we want to resolve these yellow flags. So one of the goals here for this talk is to introduce people to this system, introduce people to the eFlora and the CCH, so that we can start to increase our participation in these websites to resolve some of these yellow flag issues. So we would like to have even more people in the community contacting us and say, here's a yellow flag, this one's georeferenced wrong, I know this specimen, I know that it occurs in that, could you talk to the author and I'll give you the specimens and such as that, so that we can get some of these yellow flags resolved. And the yellow flag itself will continue to be shown in CCH1, but that's not a feature, it's not a Darwin core field or a database field, it's not going to be shown in CCH2. So for interacting with the eFlora and the California Herbarium specimens, it will be restricted to the CCH1 and the eFlora database. And just one more, there's also a California Phylodiversity applet that Brent Mischler and Bruce Baldwin have, and the graduate students have developed based on their georeference and phylodiversity studies. And we encourage people to start. This is now linked to our website and will be kind of increasingly integrated with the eFlora and such, because it produces a lot more detailed phylogenetic information about the relationships of species within regions, geographic regions of California that's not possible with just mapping specimens onto a map. Those are all of the contributors to the CCH over time. Any questions?